Okay, let me clear something up. There is a boycott and then there's a buycott. I have a list. Everyone who's been here for a decade knows I have a list of companies that have fucked me, like Mutual Liberty, right? Liberty Mutual. Uh, I've had mainly insurance companies. Liberty Mutual, they lied numerous times. As a matter of fact, talking to that person, talking to their representatives, like talking to a 3-year old. You got a bunch of yes, you're right, I understand, and then they still fucked us hard. I mean, blatantly. After we'd been with them for 2 years on their premium plan, they wouldn't even. They fought us tooth and nail with 5 different people to not replace a fucking mirror on our Honda. Okay, I would steer clear of them I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. So we have a boycott on them. We'll never buy anything that they own or any other subsidiaries own or anyone that they do business with. There are numerous people on my list, numerous companies, uh, especially ones that now are starting to advertise on YouTube. This fucking realtor in our town, right? Won't mention his name. I'm really sick of hearing his name. Dead sick of hearing his name. Okay? Really. I've seen so many commercials that I just can't stand the guy. So now what I do is when people tell me they're looking for a home, I say, whatever you do, do not go to Josh, what's his fucking name, no matter what. This guy's way too eager and intrusive into your fucking life trying to get you to buy something so he can make money. I don't trust those kind of people. Okay? Making a profit is one thing. Trying to gouge people and squeeze every fucking dime out of them, that's really, when you can't have a job, when you can't teach, when you can't, settle on a like being a welder or a carpenter or a trade, you become a fucking real estate agent or a car salesman. So yeah, I have a list of companies that I will not spend a single dime with. And there's times where I kind of regretted it. I was like, shit. I'm right there. I'm right there, man. I could save another 5 minutes of driving and the gas. Just go in and get it. No. I refuse to do business with certain companies because they've either insulted me in my commercial, they've insulted humanity in their commercial, they've insulted reason, logic. Uh, you know, yeah. This is why we're getting an Aptera, and we have the perfect climate for charging our car. We get sun here, 95% of the year we have sun. We get atmospheric rivers for 10 days, but then it's all sun. And we don't drive that much, okay? So, I got really insulted by a couple of car companies that were talking about how they're going to save the world with their new electric car. And I'm like, you son of a bitches. Do you know how much of a carbon footprint you've put into the atmosphere over the last 60 years knowing about climate change? Making and keeping engines inefficient because it was convenient and easy for you. Going along with the oil companies, trying to stop the production of electric vehicles like Chevy did when they picked up all the electric cars and put them through a shredder. They crushed them. Even with a protest going outside with a lot of personalities telling them don't do this, they took every single car back and crushed them. They wouldn't sell them because there was this giant waiting list, and then they would say, well, the waiting list is fluctuating, and they had every excuse in the book. They would have never, ever, ever built an electric car without Elon Musk forcing them to do so. Ever. They would have still been fighting us. So fuck you. I'm not buying an American car. I'm buying an Aptera. I consider that a world car. Built from the ground up to serve both me and the planet. There are, yes, I have a list. I guess there's probably, I don't know, there's not more than 20. 21 or 22 on the list. But I will not, I won't do a single shred of business with them. Some have lied to me, and next thing you know, I'm getting spam up the ass from every co-branded partner they have. Listen, if you go into someplace like Harbor Freight, they're like, "Oh, we build. We don't sell your name." I'm like, "Well, why do you force people to give you a current email address before you can get some of your sale products? What fucking store in the world besides Harbor Freight demands an email address, contact information, phone number before you can get their coupons?" So fuck Harbor Freight. I'll pay the extra 10%. I'll buy a tool made in America. Screw you. So they're on the top of my list now. They were like number 6, but they got moved to the top recently. As I had a manager try to convince me that everything in the store was made by their company. And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "I can walk in here right now, walk over to your first rack and pick up a roll of Gorilla Tape. You don't make Gorilla Tape. And you're going to give them my email address. That's part of your deal. I know that. Listen, folks, if your email address is at Harbor Freight and you've been getting spam, that's most likely where it's fucking originating from. So yeah, my list is permanent and indelible. I'll never get another one. And then there's companies, like Mother's Aluminum Polish. It's my number one list for products that do what they say they're going to do. There used to be Mother's Magic Wadding. That was the only thing better. It was like a cotton. It was impermeated with it, right? And it worked just amazingly well. Since I've been building drag bikes my whole life, and I love aluminum and hate chrome, I've gone through a lot of Mothers. And trust me, it works, okay? There are things that work the way they're supposed to. That list isn't small. I found most American companies do things the way you're supposed to. And Chinese-made shit turns out to be shit most of the time. So, there you go. No, I don't talk about who's on my list. I showed it one time, and that was a mistake because everybody freeze frames it and then said, "Why are you picking on these guys? Well, everybody's got their fanboys, I guess." But that's what you should do. If you see a company that's degrading the environment for profit, put them on your list. Boycott them. Don't buy anything that has to do with anything that has to do with them. Don't buy a single thing, okay? That's what it takes. That's how you make a dent in these people's bottom line, and they start to understand they have to change. Because not changing means that you'll have declining growth, and in a capitalistic economy, if you're not doing better every year, you're screwed. You're a loser. This is why we have such a fucked up country and why everything is for sale, including your health. Everything. Your health is for sale. The health of your children is for sale. Just like your senators and your congressmen, your representatives. There are products that shouldn't be out there, and they're allowed to be there because, well, certain people just think it's good for them politically. Certain plans that people want to put into place. Oh, well, we need more dams to save more water. And I want to tell them, I lived in the Bay Area. I grew up there. As a kid, I watched the Bay go from this pristine environment to a literal stinking, reeking shithole in 30 years. Used to see schools of bass the size of 3 football fields going by every 20 minutes. And now you're lucky if you even get a hit. It's just degraded to the point where it's just scary bad. And you want to stop more water? Why? I'll tell you why. So that some guy, again, I won't buy almonds anymore. I won't buy fucking almonds. I love almonds. I won't buy almonds anymore. Okay, pistachios. I love pistachios. I will not buy pistachios anymore. Because the guy, you have to remember that there is one guy at the top of these fucking food chains over there when it comes to pistachios and almonds, okay? Vast orchards. that uses trillions with a T, gallons of water, and then they ship 85 to 90% of that crop overseas. So that one guy, okay, can use all those resources. So, no, and I don't care who you are, I will not buy your pistachios and I won't buy your almonds anymore. Sucks. That's how it is. I know people with walnut trees in the area. I'll have plenty of them. I love almonds that I do myself. Oh, they're so good. No bitterness. So get a list. Get a list. That's how you help. If you want to do something meaningful that causes you a little pain sometimes, like I said, there's been times when I just, oh, fuck, what? I should just go in there. I remember standing there at the curb looking at the sign. I should just fucking go in there. And I couldn't do it because I'm stubborn. If you guys haven't noticed. So yeah, boycott them. And then don't buy anything. Don't just say, well, I'm against this company and then go spend your money. You can be against a company and it's not going to bother them a single bit. You want actionable responses, which means you don't spend your money with them or their affiliates. Okay? Most companies are owned by companies that are owned by companies. Most of your doctors are owned by money market funds. Your hospitals, they're owned by money market funds. Okay? The national park out here, Whiskey Town, owned by a fucking money market fund. Private cleanup fucking companies. And I was out there one day, here's two batteries. This guy was so eager to give me a ticket, but I have a golden access pass. He didn't have any of the forms. I said, well, listen, you have nothing for me to fill out. I want to go fishing. Am I supposed to wait for you to get back because you have this premier parking spot all year long and you want to come out here and lord over everybody at Whiskey Town? No, Shasta, excuse me, O'Brien, the O'Brien area, the boat ramp. A guy has a premier parking spot there. I go to take my nephew fishing. All he wants to do is give me a ticket. I'm like, listen, you have nothing for me to fill out. You weren't here when I parked. And I said, what do you do here anyway? I keep the area clean. I said, well, there's two 12-volt car batteries sitting right down there at the end of the parking lot. Go pick those up. Guess what? We went back a week later, fucking batteries still sitting there. What? Are you not cleaning at all? Are you? I was actually so angry. I get mad just thinking about it. Because all he wanted to do is give me a ticket and boss and lord me around. You know what I mean? Just being a cunt. And yet here's those same batteries down there. It was just disgusting. Owned by private companies. There was a time when the Parks and Recreation ran it. You could go up anywhere in Whiskey Town with a little silver or a little yellow rooster tail, throw it in the water and catch fish all day long. Now it's the exact same thing as the fucking bay. It's dead. They let the Hmong and the other Orientals that weren't used to our regulations and how we treat our ecology, and they were taking bluegill and bass this fucking big. I mean, literally netting baby fish. And the Fish and Game, when they were informed, said, oh, well, there's nothing we can do because it's a cultural issue. It's a cultural issue. Well, wait a minute. So I go up there now and I don't even fucking see a bluegill. I don't see a bluegill. You know, your lake is fucking dead. If you don't see a bluegill, your lake is dead. You have nothing. And that's how it is up there now. When I grew up, you'd have 50 of them nibbling on your skin on your legs, trying to get your dead skin. Nothing. So I know two companies that company owns. I don't do business with them. One of them's in town. I don't do business with them. I could and should, but I won't. I'll drive all the way to Anderson instead. Because they are the same company. So you have to pay attention to that, okay? Harbor Freight is basically Harbor Freight. Everything that they do is the same, comes from the same, you know. But they have, 30 or 40 affiliated partners in their store. And they're going to give them your email address. And phone number, by the way, okay? They have my phone number and my old email address, and they wanted a current one. And I wouldn't give it to them. So I ended up, out of like $150 order, I ended up paying an extra $30 fucking dollars. You know what I call that? I call that blackmail. So that tells you how much money they're making, right? By selling your personal information from Harbor Freight.